2 this week, the woman found guilty of killing her husband to cash in on life insurance money will find out how long she will spend in prison. A jury found Tia Young guilty of felony murder, aggravated assault, and 2 counts of criminal attempt to tamper with evidence. Her alleged lover, Harvey Timothy Lee, was convicted of malice murder, felony murder, and aggravated assault. Tia's husband, George Young, was shot and killed on his front porch after coming home from work in November of 2017. Sentencing will be held on Thursday.
Yeah, so y'all see what it is, right? Look, this is like a new thing that's going. It's not even a new thing. This story goes all the way back to 2017. But the only reason why I'm bringing it up now is because it's out again. Like this is a growing trend for women to do. I just wanted to bring this story back, but this is wild. This is really wild. Like we need to talk about this. All right, so look, we're gonna get into this real fast. This is the Tia Young story. Wife, who she killed. His body.
I don't know anything about what.
She killed her husband. It goes back to 2017. Georgia woman kills her husband for $1 million life insurance policy. Side dude helped her out to do it. This is happening all over the globe, everywhere you want to know. Women are doing it, men are doing it. This is just something I need to say to married men that has something to lose. Look, you can't tell your wife everything. Me personally, I've never been married. I don't know what the pillow talk looks like. I mean, obviously I know what pillow talk look like and sound like. But yes, a woman you've been with 10, 15, 20 years, you may think like she's all there for you, but you just never know what's on a woman's mind. So I'm going to play a little of this interview, this interrogation from this woman, Tia Young. Look, man, this can happen to anybody at any time because the devil is out here. You know, the devil's out here. If the woman ain't listening to the man, okay? And she ain't listening to God, who she listening to? Who she listening to? And if the man ain't listening to God, you already know the woman ain't listening to the man. So what we doing? Because most women, they won't even deal with a man that wants to deal with God hard body. These days, if you're dealing with a liberal woman, a modern day liberal female, if you dealing with that woman, she ain't gonna want to deal with you. You dealing with God hard body unless she wants to deal with God hard body too. Let's keep that in mind, gentlemen. Let's get into this.
Happened that night. Nothing. I did not have anything to do with George's death.
Okay.
And definitely nothing dealing with him wanting him dead for money. Nothing at all.
This is Tia Young, the prime suspect in the murder of her own husband, George Young. But detectives suspect that she wasn't alone, because hidden behind her acts of denial is a complex love triangle and the race for $1 million.
He said you guys were in a relationship and that you were the mastermind behind all of this and it was your idea because you wanted the $1 million life insurance policy and he could take over George's job and you guys would be set to be together. And that was the whole deal.
Well, I can tell you that's a lie.
On November 16, 2017, at 11:30 p.m., 43-year-old George Young returned to his home after working late into the night as a security guard for rapper Lil Yachty.
And that's what it is, guys. Like, they go at the men who have these really long hour jobs, work. Like, look, if you a man about your purpose, look, I get it. Every man has it in him to want to be with a woman hard body. You know what I'm saying? They want to do this. They want to make it happen. They want to have kids. They want to do this. They want to do that. Look, I get it. But y'all, a lot of men got to understand something. A lot of these, and I'm only talking to the men because I'm a man myself. You know what I mean? Like, yes, there are men out here that go after women for their insurance policy, but those are straight up broke ass dudes. Like, let's get something straight, okay? They don't even make the conversation. Dudes that are just, that don't want to work and they living off the woman. Of course, that dude's gonna try some crack, okay? So those dudes don't even make it to this conversation. So if anybody in the chat talking about, well, we want to talk about men, like those some broke ass niggas. All right, let's get it straight. Those are niggas that just want to do what they want to do. Most men, I just had a tooth removed, so I'm just kind of going with it. If most men are if most men are married and have kids, that means that they're willing to work for that wife and kids, no matter what. So I don't want to hear too much about men doing this to women, because most of those guys that are doing it to women, they broke as hell anyway. And we're talking about a man who's a security guard, bodyguard for celebrities. This man had bread. All right, let's keep it going.
Considering the safety risk of his job, George had made sure that he wasn't being followed that night, but he did not expect that someone would be waiting for him inside his own.
I might slur a little bit too through this because of this. I didn't know how I was going to react with this, but I feel it and I got spit. Like, it's bad, but we'll go on.
Own home. Because the moment he unlocked his door, the only thing George heard was a gunshot. He had been shot directly in the face, giving him little to no chance of survival. The first individuals to respond were George's wife, Tia, and oddly enough, another male living at the residence, Tim Lee. By the time the officers arrived,
that's the side dude. Tim Lee, that's the side dude, man. Look, and that's another thing too. You professional side dudes out there that just have to get in with the married woman. Look, we all been there, all right? I've been there. I did the side dude missions and all. Look, man, after a while, man, that stuff gets old, man. It gets old, dried out, and corny. Because, like, you got to get tired of jumping out the first story window. You got to get tired of, you got to hurry up. He on his way. Hurry up. You got to be tired of that by now. You know what I'm saying? You got to be tired of, like, you have to be tired about it. Like, you really, side dudes come off as real losers. You know what I'm saying? That's why a lot of men that did that life, like, including myself, I was a side dude. I was a professional side dude, but I was more than willing to be that guy too. But it's not good. We have to stop this. Like, leave married people alone. Leave married couples alone. Leave them alone.
Tim was attempting chest compressions on the victim, George, while Tia stood and watched. Investigating the crime scene, officers soon discovered a string of inconsistencies that would lead them to a murder case filled with conspiracies and lies. The first of these inconsistencies was an incredibly weird request that Tia made to dispatch.
Begged when I called 911, I begged them not to turn sirens on because I didn't want my kids to see him like that.
The cops...
Yeah, that don't make no sense. That didn't make any sense. Like, why wouldn't the cops come sirens blaring and lights flashing? Look, somebody been shot, somebody on the ground, they coming the way they want to come. They gonna come hard, pause. You know what I mean? Like, that's just how it is. You can't tell cops how not to come, pause. Let's keep it going.
Obviously could not do this and had to turn their sirens on. But by the time officers arrived, they discovered the children still slept through not only the loud sirens, but the gunshots as well. Questioning the children, officers soon discovered that they didn't simply fall asleep. They had been forced to stay asleep as they were fed sleeping pills by Tia before they went to bed. Even stranger was a neighbor who gave an interview to officers, explaining that he saw Tim Lee initially running away from the dead body towards George's car. Officers later found out that a tracker had been removed from the car. But the most important discovery wasn't a clue from the crime scene, but $1 million insurance policy that George had, and the beneficiary was none other than his own wife, Tia. At this point, officers had more questions than answers. Why did Tia feed the children sleeping pills? Why did Tim remove a tracker with a dead man in front of him? And most importantly, what was the relationship between Tim and Tia? To find answers to this, officers dug deeper into any communication.
We want to skip on through to the interview. They got their disclaimer up. I got my disclaimer up too. We're going to see exactly what he talking about. The side dude. I don't know what the copyright thing going to do. I've been trying. I'm at about 10 minutes now. We'll see what it is. I hope this goes through because this is something that, this is something that every man needs to really pay attention to in life. I know you out there, as Kevin Samuels will put it, the Hit Squad, Henrys, the Blakes. Look, guys, you guys are the ones that are trying to rebuild society, but you still have to make sure you good. Me personally, my personal advice for married men, like I said, I'm not a married man, but I've dealt with enough women to know that you can't tell them everything. I don't care how cool you think they are, and I don't care how cool they come off as. I don't give a crap. You can't tell, and even in the Bible, it tells you do not share your secrets with the woman that lays in your bed. Or I'm paraphrasing, but even God tells you don't tell your wife everything because she don't need to know everything. That's just the way it is. Y'all dudes, y'all just, my wife, happy wife, happy life. No, happy you, happy them. That's all it is. That's what it's supposed to be. Happy you, happy them. All right? Get it straight.
As you have her saved as Big Sis. And her phone, she had, and you had said that that's what it was going to. So one of the things was, obviously, I talked to you before, and a lot of people had some concerns. What was your relationship with Tia? I know that you guys say it's a brother-sister relationship. I know that in the phone it said.
That's a major incest going on, brother-sister relationship, huh? That's incest, bruh. Ain't trying to hear that, my man. Look at him. You see that dumbass? You see scratching his earlobe? He's a dumbass. And but that's just what it is, That's how you know how ungrateful this woman was. Like, you got a man out there slaving, doing every single thing. Now look, I don't know. He could have been out there doing this thing. They say he was a celebrity bodyguard. He could have been out there messing with all the groupies too. But guess what, baby? He came home. You and dickhead over here got together for some elaborated scheme to kill your husband, your husband, father of your kids. Look at this guy. He's an idiot. This goes back to my other video. Why do women choose idiot men? We know why. We see why.
Big Sis, and you had said that that's what it was going to say inside the phone. That's how you had her saved. What is the relationship in your eyes, and what was it before? Has it changed at all through any of this?
I mean, she's still my big sister.
Mm-hmm. No
matter what, I always look out for her. If you ask her mom, she'll tell you the same thing.
So, I mean, I talked to her mom, and that's what she said. My question, too, is, in your phone, you have her saved as Big Sis. In her phone, she has you listed as a female's name for both of your numbers. You know why that is?
What? Huh? What?
So this is her phone, and these are your numbers saved under this female name. And then that's the black phone you had, and then the IPH is the iPhone.
Well,
so why does she?
Sonya is my sister.
Mm-hmm. Does your sister had both your numbers?
No, I'm talking about my big sister, my real sister. Her first name is Sonya.
Okay.
So I don't know why she has.
But why would she save you and her phone as that? If you guys are so close, why would she feel like she has to hide it?
I don't know. I don't go through her phone.
Okay. I mean, I'm just curious. I mean, was she worried that George? Did you guys talk?
Foul ass dude, bro. You foul. You can look at him and tell you foul. You know you foul, man. Foul, bro.
A lot that George didn't know about that she was gonna. She thought he was gonna be upset.
We always talked in front of George, so I mean it was it wasn't just me. Several of her co-workers, but like she said, and if you'd asked her mom would tell you the same thing. Matter of fact, the boys, like we could be in the room. Matter of fact, I know Ivy brought it up that night, but we could be in the room listening to music, watching movies. George would come home, he'd go get the computer chair, pull it right in the room, and we'd all just sit and watch the same movie. Because they didn't have a TV in their bedroom. So the only two TVs in the house upstairs is mine and the mother's, Tia's mother. So
Okay.
Tim is completely unwilling to crack. However, detectives have just the thing to soften him up and get more answers out of him.
Get that man an orange soda. Get that man an orange Powerade, bro. They got him softened up. Look. Yo, they gave that man, look, we got you. Hey, Tim, would you like an orange soda? Oh, yes. And he starts squealing. You know, that's messed up. I'm not even going to say that's racist, stereotypical. That's a damn shame. He started lighting it up. Look, give him an orange drink. Oh, God.
So obviously when, we talk to everybody that we feel like has any kind of past or talking to anybody. So obviously I talked to Zena. And when I talked to her, she said that you had told her you were dating somebody named Tia. And that you told her it was a school teacher, but that when she called her, it was Tia's phone, and Tia answered while she was during Valentine's Day with George. You know about that? You don't remember that? She sent you an email talking about it. Did you read her emails?
I rarely read Zena's emails because she trash talk so much.
Okay.
Half of them get deleted, honestly.
Okay. All right. Yeah, she said every time she asked you or she confronted you about somebody, you changed which Tia it was. Why would you tell her you're dating a person named Tia?
She actually called a Tia from, what school did she say? Cedar Grove. And then she said that wasn't a Tia, so she reached out to several Tias.
Okay. But you had told her you were dating a Tia?
No, I didn't.
So why would she come up with that?
I have no idea.
You think that's weird? That you live with a Tia and she thinks you're dating a Tia?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
She said so.
They got this boy dead to rights, man. They got him dead to rights because it's look, man. These dudes, they don't get it, man. They don't get it. You messing with a married man's woman. You messing with a married woman, and it's like it's like it's not gonna go. It's not gonna go well.
Several texts saying that she talked to the Tia, which was a coach from a coach math teacher from Cedar Grove, and then she said that she called two other Tias trying to find who I was quote unquote dating.
Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead because he pleads the fifth. I'm gonna go ahead and do some of her interview. See how she does her interview, and probably end in a couple minutes.
Bars.
Hey, wait.
She's ready. She was sleeping.
It's cold in this one.
It is.
It's burning up down there.
It's cold. It's cold. It's cold. Oh my God. It's cold. It's cold. It's cold.
So, like I said, the reason I brought you back in here today is I have follow-up questions. I kind of want to go over it again because that's just at the point that we're at now. That's been a couple months. Sometimes bringing people back in and going over the story helps us find if there was something you didn't remember the first time. The thing is with it, the first time we talked and then you came up here and then we talked to you at the house, and I understand that there were some issues with that. It had gotten pretty confrontational, I guess, the way that some people had talked to you, right, at the house?
Yes, very.
Okay. One of the things is that when we bring people in over and over, obviously I know that because of the things we were going, because of the suspected relationship between you and him, because of all of those things, you were listed, as a suspect, but you knew that, right?
I found out through, yeah.
Okay. You found out through where?
Mutual Omaha. They sent me.
Oh,
They sent
okay.
a letter every month.
Oh, okay. So because of that, like I said, I want to go over this with you again today and ask you this, but because we've already kind of come at you hard and talked to you and all that kind of stuff, and I just did the same thing with Tim in there. I have to talk to you. Is that I'm gonna have to read you your rights, okay? I don't have a warrant for you right now or anything like that, but to continue talking.
Yeah, so basically they already know what they're looking at. They already know that because the boy done plead the fifth. She's caught. They already got her 911 telling, the cops saying, oh, well, don't come in here with the lights flashing and the sirens blaring because you're going to wake my kids up. Turns out, I don't know if it said it at first, but, she gave her kids sleeping pills so they could sleep through the whole thing as she killed her damn husband. Look, this is a very, very evil woman. Whatever happened in their marriage, that was not disclosed. Look, the way this world is, okay, and she did this in 2017. So if this man was anything but a righteous dude and a good husband, it would have came out. Okay, and the fact that none of it came out, the fact that this man had a pretty good record, he wasn't out there sleeping with groupies or whatever. None of that came out. So you gotta ask yourself, I believe that he married a woman that was just below his class. Just judging by the man she chose to cheat on him with. He chose a woman that was below his class. And man, look, you got to know your worth at the end of the day. You got to know your worth. You got to know, oh, is this woman somebody I probably shouldn't be dealing with? We all, look, everybody comes from somewhere. I think most people come from humble beginnings. All right? But there's a lot of sayings out there. You can take the Negro out of the hood, but you can't take the hood out of the Negro. And that goes for men and women. All right?
And because it's the fourth time I've talked to you, I have to read it to you, okay?
Okay.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to talk to a lawyer and have him present with you while you're being questioned. If you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, one will be appointed to represent you before any
He's reading her rights. I want to get into a little bit more of this because I'm not going to play this whole thing.
And I said, my brother, so he told me what he thought he saw, so I relayed it to her. Then she wanted me to do CPR. I don't like shots.
So just start out that night. I know that you said you had gone or you were in bed. Were you like in a deep sleep or were you just kind of sleeping or what was going on then?
As far as I remember, I was in a deep sleep.
Okay. And then what happened?
I heard 2 loud noises. I wasn't sure if it was firecrackers or what it was.
Mm-hmm.
I sat up on my bed, looked around. My baby boy was still asleep. If I remember correct, I think I went to Tim's room, but he wasn't there. His light was on.
Mm-hmm.
Then I remembered he was downstairs on the computer or a laptop at the table. I don't think I went to my mom's room right away. I think I went downstairs to where he was. And I think as I got almost down to the bottom step, he was coming up.
Mm-hmm.
He asked me, did I hear it? I said, yeah, I heard it. He said, it sounded like shots. I said, I'm not sure if it was shots or firecrackers or what it was, because some people in our neighborhood that are new, they periodically do firecrackers for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
I think at that point he said he was going to go get his gun, go up to his room, go down and check, see. I remember him opening the door, shutting it pretty quick, telling me to call 911.
And that's when he told you that it was that George was out there. Okay.
And I called 911. The lady goes through the whole thing. What's your emergency? And then I told her that my husband.
You gotta ask yourself. You gotta ask yourself, does this look like a woman that just lost her dearly beloved? Or does this look like a woman that's rehearsing a script? Because if you sit here listening to this woman talk, this doesn't look like a woman that lost her husband and the father of her kids. She looks like a woman that is reading off a script and just trying to remember everything. Look, it is what it is, guys. You know, you don't want to vet these women. You want to just marry them, tell them, yeah, baby, I got a life insurance policy, and guess what, baby, you're the benefactor. Yay! All right, keep playing these games with these liberal modern day females, man. I'm keep telling y'all, it ain't gonna work out. It won't work out.
We heard gunshots, and my brother opened the door and said that it was my husband. She needed to know, I think, where the shots were is what she needed to know. And yeah, that's the first thing she asked. I told her I couldn't do it. I couldn't go down there. So she said, is there anybody can look that can? I said, my brother. So he looked, told me what he thought he saw. So I relayed it to her. And then she wanted me to do CPR. I don't know CPR, first of all, and if I did, I don't think I'd have been able to gather myself to do it. I don't know. Could have, but I don't think so.
It's important to note that Tia did have experience in the medical field, as she mentioned earlier that she was actively applying to medical.
Yeah, she's actually wearing scrubs. So, I mean, what it looked like appeared to be scrubs. So, yeah, everybody, like, cops ain't stupid. They know what they're dealing with right here, and they just want to get her to admit it.
Positions. This meant it was impossible that she did not know CPR and was clearly lying. Unfortunately, this is only the start of her disgusting lies, because as she begins to talk about the murder, her behavior is anything but that of a grieving widow.
Exactly. So I'm going to go ahead and go to, I'm going to end this real fast. I'll probably do a part 2 to it real fast, just for time's sake. Look, guys, y'all got to understand something. We not living in the old times right now. What the times we living in is, you know, I mean, the Shannon Sharp thing, everything else. We're living in the time where, like, men are somewhat on the bottom now, and the women, they're the predators. You know, you got female school teachers preying on the young boys. You got older women like Tracy Ellis Ross that are only going at the young dudes. You got women like Tia Young that's out there. You know, look, it's a free-for-all now. So I don't know what men are thinking right now, but the real men got to start standing up. You got to start standing up. Or, yeah, we in trouble. Deuces.